Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I don't plan on becoming an ADHD channel specialist, but there's a couple of things that I want to put in different videos for you guys. So if there's ever any questions you have or any videos you want me to make, put them in the comment section below and I will take care of that for you. So I've already talked about my entire diagnosis so far with ADHD and how I got to where I am now, fully medicated, on a high dose of medication as well, but monitored through a fantastic specialist. Let's talk about how it took me so long to find out that I did have ADHD. Notoriously, if you grew up in like, I don't know, maybe even younger than me, especially from like the 2000s onwards in primary school, ADHD was something that we only heard about when it was concerning like little boys who were extremely hyperactive. I'm talking like the boys in school that would come and pull your hair, boys in school that would come and scream and shout and like play with Legos and throw Legos and stuff like that. It was a very extreme mental image of what ADHD was, but that was like the only exposure that anybody ever really had to it. So things like ADD, not even something that we discussed. I don't know scientifically if it was discovered back then, but especially growing up in the UK, ADHD was purely little boys with attitude problems or impulsive and hyper and way too much and way over the top, kind of just as if you almost wanted to like avoid them, which sounds awful, like looking back now, but that was just the ignorance that we had about ADHD at the time. And I'd like to clarify as well, it still has a massive stigma. As somebody who has been fully diagnosed for 3 years now, it's hard to tell people that I still have it without them being like, oh. I saw a post the other day that was like, describe ADHD, but don't say it's ADHD. Like, describe the neurological disorder and say to people that you have a neurological disorder, but then drop in that it's ADHD and watch their reaction. And it's true, it's so true. The stigma is still there. It's because it's so similar to being normal issues that everybody else deals with. Everybody has bouts where they feel almost paralyzed to sit down and can't get up out of bed or can't do anything, no motivation, tiredness, sharing too much. Every symptom of ADHD and ADD is something that a normal person, yeah, like I'm putting normal like this as well, because like what even is normal? A non-neurodivergent person experiences all these things. So their grasp of it is like, well, yeah, we all have that, of course, like you just need to get up, like you just need to do it. And somebody with ADHD knows exactly what it's like, where it feels like you're being anchored down and you just can't do anything. It's understandable because it's a mental illness and it's all here and we have to deal with it here. It's hard to show people truly how debilitating it is without going to the absolute extremes. And even then, 9 times out of 10, we hide it from people. I can't talk about other ADHDers, but I mask so well. It gets to the point where I'll have really, really bad ADHD bouts and then I'll be having a couple of months catch up with my best friend and then I'm suddenly like, oh yeah, and I was really, really struggling at this time. And she's like, how? When? I think the only person I can not hide it from is like my partner who's with me every single day because he physically lives with me. Like he cannot escape the ADHD moods. So you might want to know how I found out that I had ADHD. So if you already saw the previous video about my whole experience up to date, you will know that a colleague at work suggested that she thinks I might have ADHD, and then a couple of years later I asked my therapist. My therapist wasn't a licensed professional to diagnose ADHD. She's obviously a licensed professional, but she recommended I do some research. Reddit is where I went to find out everything. And I really didn't think I was gonna find anything, but I like to take advice. Yes, disclaimer, Reddit isn't always the nicest place on the internet, but it's the fastest place to get like actual on the ground human reactions that aren't media based or based in selling a product or anything that isn't legitimate. It isn't a study, it isn't a thing, it's just human people and their experiences, their ideas, their feelings and personal attachments to this situation. So my best case was like, right, I'm gonna go to ADHD Reddit and see what people are saying. And my God, my world opened up. So all these things that were quirks in my life that I thought were just me, turns out they weren't me. And I'm gonna give you a list of them now so that if you're wondering whether or not you might have ADHD, these are the symptoms that nobody on the internet told me about. A bit different now. Nowadays, I imagine that, you know, like loads of people talk about it, but these are the symptoms that caught my eye that made me go, oh my God, is this ADHD or is this me? Or am I not, is this my personality? I don't even know anymore what my personality is. So yeah, here we go. One of the biggest ones was the fact that when I love a song and I find a new song and I'm like, oh my God, it speaks to my soul. Like it almost like goes through me and then I cannot do anything other than listen to that song on repeat. And that has been since I was a kid. And it doesn't happen that often, but it'll maybe happen like once every 2 months, 3 months. That is quite often. In the grand scheme of life though, no. I will listen to that song to death over and over and over and over and over again. And then the other one is that I need a certain amount of like beats per minute on instrumental music I normally tend to go for like very heavy EDM. You'd imagine it at Ibiza or something like that. I need that with no lyrics on, and I'm calm and can like get loads of work done. If I have that on, when you hear it, if you're not neurodivergent, it's like, say with like heavy rock, I can listen to heavy rock and I can go like calm and in the zone. And I always used to have people laugh at me and be like, how is that your like get on with work music? And I'd just be like, I don't know how it works. Calms my brain. Well, turns out it replaces the dopamine. It's something to do with that. I don't know the science, but it's something to do with that. And loads of other people had it as well. So that was another thing that I noticed. But one of my years on Spotify Wrapped, I think Hans Zimmer was, and don't get me wrong, Hans Zimmer is a fantastic composer and artist and all of those things. But yeah, I'm not the type of girl that would normally just have Hans Zimmer just chilling in a playlist, but the Amazing Spider-Man 2 soundtrack spoke to me, and then I just had to listen to it every year, every single year, forever. I don't make the rules. The brain does. So another quirk that they don't say, they put impulsivity. They don't quite tell you that every week you're going to start an entirely new hobby and you're going to be so invested in this hobby, but also the investment is going to be that you buy everything. Like right now I'm talking to you, I'm hoping this investment pays off, but I bought a brand new camera for this. Did I need it? No, I probably could have spoke to you on my phone, but I couldn't get it done until I had the whole equipment, including a tripod, a light, all the rest of the things. I've also got a free Final Cut Pro membership. Like every single thing I do, I don't just go 20% in. I am 100%, I am all in, and then a week later I don't care. Or I don't get the instant reward that I think my brain tells me I'm gonna get. So yeah, this is the part where if you could just like the video and then maybe like subscribe to my channel, then I'll get the instant reward. Maybe. But yeah, if I don't get an instant reward, that's it, it's gone for a month. So I have drawers in this house now of like ADHD moments. One was rhinestoning, I've made wax melts, I've become a developer, like I learned code, I've lost it now, but that's fine. I wanted to be a graphic designer, so I got an iPad and everything else. I wanted to make print t-shirts, so I got all the things needed for a print. I wanted to make a podcast 2 years ago. I went all out. I wanted to become a streamer, so I went all out and got like the best of the best Elgato. The list goes on. I don't think I need to go any further. I always thought that was me. None of my friends did that. Turns out if I'd have just had ADHD friends, I would have seen it. Constantly feeling like there is not enough hours in the day. 24 hours is a lot of hours, but really we only function for about 3 of them. So no wonder we constantly feel that like time is not on our side. Next thing that I always thought was just a me thing, but everybody else is, if I have something planned later on in the day, so say I've got a dentist appointment at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and I get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, I can't start a single thing because I might run over and I might be late for my dentist appointment and I might not make it on time, so I can't. And so I just sit there on my phone, spaced out completely, just wasting away the hours, screaming in my head, going like, well, you could get up and do this, you really want to do this, oh, if you just do this now, you'll do it. And then I'll look at the clock and be like, but I just lost another half an hour. Yeah, there's not enough time to do that. Maybe I'll just do this instead. Oh, but I could also put away the wash and just lost another 45 minutes. Can't do it instead. I used to do this all the time and I used to be like, there's not enough time for me to do it. My mum would be like, you've got 5 hours until you go to this thing, like, what are you on about? And I'd be like, no, I don't. It doesn't feel like 5 hours because I'll blink and then it'll be time, but I'll also be late. I will be late all the time. That was definitely one of the biggest ones as well. Like the time blindness thing for me, I can do a whole other video on time blindness. In fact, I might film just a couple of videos like this now. Yeah, time blindness for me was the hardest of all. So the next one was a very quirky one. Again, not put on official symptoms, but saving 1 million screenshots, convinced that, oh, I need to remember this for later, so I'm going to save it and then put it in here on my photos and then I'll come back to that later, and never going back to it. Ever. I since came up with like a self-care habit where I would go back through all of my screenshots and be like, right, is this relevant now? Oh, that was maybe 4 weeks ago. I could have done with that. Like all these different things. And I sort them into my Notion, which I'm going to speak to you about in a different video if you want. The next video will be about all the different tools and ways that I managed my ADHD while I was unmedicated. And my God, this was one of the absolute lifesavers of my life. Realizing that even when you're procrastinating, you're not relaxing because you're so fixated on the fact that you're not doing anything productive, but you're also not relaxed and you're also not doing anything there, so you just space and do nothing at all. Kind of similar to the one I said before, but this one really is like, you don't rest. You're not lazy. You're not sat there going like, oh my God, I don't want to do it. I'm just so like, I'm against things. I don't want to do it. No, I can't do it. So that was one of the big ones. And another massive symptom that nobody tells you about at all, and this is the one that I live with my entire life, is I cannot get get up in the morning at all. I wake up in the morning and my brain feels like complete fog. It feels like, oh God, it's like somebody's put a giant weight on me and then pushed me down, but I'm alert in here, but not able to be alert here and not fully alert altogether. And my alarm will go off, and it's almost like one side of my brain will say this side of my brain is like, hey, get up. Katie, come on, get up. You have so much you want to do today. You've got this. And then it's almost like I've got the little ADHD devil on my shoulder going like, but no, you don't. Get back to sleep. You don't want to get up. Just enjoy the duvet and go back to sleep and just relax. While the other side is screaming, absolutely screaming, going like, hey, get up, get up, get up. Oh my God, you're so lazy. Why haven't you got up yet? Like, what are you doing? Just get up. And this went on every day for my entire life. I thought something was seriously wrong with me. Again, I'm not surrounded by people who had clear ADHD. And don't get, like, this wasn't every single day. If I had something I was really excited for to get up to, I could get up. Dopamine. What a shock. Now I know. Now I understand completely where it comes from. Of course, I got up really early in the morning when I was going on holiday. I'm excited. Of course, I was able to prize myself out of bed. I'm excited. First day of work. I'm nervous, anxious, and excited. I have the dopamine without anything else. So yeah, nobody prepares you for feeling like the laziest person in the whole world, waking up late all the time, missing buses, being late for things, never getting up properly on time to do your makeup and hair. I don't know about men, but for me especially, like, I always feel like such a slob. My hair is always tied back. I'm never wearing makeup after a certain amount of time because my brain will not let me get up in enough time to get ready to go to work. Having to rush and pay for taxis impulsively because, again, I'm going to be late to work. And I'm lucky enough now that I work in a situation where they're really understanding and they really get the fact that I have ADHD, and they've been so transparent and so lovely with me about it. And like, if I'm late, I just make the time back. It's great. It's great to have people that understand. But I've had many jobs where they didn't understand, and I'm lucky enough that I've never been fired. I got made redundant one time, but I've never been fired, but I've been close, and it's always been because of my time blindness and because of I can't get up in the mornings. Oh, I'm a night owl. Like, I go to bed really, really late. That's it. That's all I do. I just sleep late. I can't get to sleep, but I have no trouble sleeping till the morning. That used to be my thing. No. What we're doing is we feel, because our brains work overtime all day and we don't get anything done, we also feel at the end of that day that we've got nothing done. So I now need to stay up all night and have me time. So I do this every night, and I probably live off, now I'm a lot better, now I'm medicated. But before I was medicated and before I even knew it was ADHD, I think I lived off like 4 or 5 hours a night every night. And then I would spend like every other weekend, I'd lose one day just to sleep, because my body was like, what the hell are you doing to me? Like, staying up all night. But I couldn't stop, because at this point, this is where I would then feed into my ADHD hyperfixation. So I'd be like, oh my God, but I need to research about this because I'm gonna be the next big person in this, this, and this. And then it just all goes back to square one. So if you are watching this and you do that, get some sleep. It doesn't help. It goes into a horrible vicious cycle, and then you lose time on the weekend. You lose a whole day. You spend the next week angry at yourself, guilty at the fact that you lost a whole day. Just don't do it. I know it's easier said than done though, and you're gonna do it anyway. Next is doing so much research on something, loving something for so many years and being like the best. It's your favorite movie, it's your favorite book series, you've read all of them. This was my one. I read them all, and I read them all multiple times. I loved the Jacqueline Wilson books, as I imagine many girls my age did. But if you ask me anything about Jacqueline Wilson books on the spot, you say the name of the book, you say anything, it's gone, completely gone. This also works for stupid things like my boyfriends in the past. Of course I love my boyfriends. Of course I know everything about them, especially I've been with them for a long, long time. But if you ask me on the spot, what's your boyfriend's favorite color? Gone. I can't, I don't, it's gone. It's like almost as if the minute I get asked a question that allows me to think backwards, all the shutters shut down on the shop, no information is coming out of here. Then about an hour later, to the front of the mind it'll go, and I'm like, oh my God, I did know that. That's a huge one. And that used to make me feel so, so guilty that I'd be like, wait, does this mean that I don't like that person? Like, does this mean, wait, did I even read those books? Do I even like this series? My whole childhood is a lie. Yes, you do. It'll come back afterwards. It just, nobody prepares you that that's a thing too. Right, well, rather than make this video last any longer, because I'm not gonna lie to you, it took me about half an hour to film because I kept like ADHD distractions. Honest to God, it takes me ages to film. If you like this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and please go and subscribe to my channel. I'm not just an ADHD channel. I will be putting out more fun stuff every other week. I'm gonna try and aim to upload Tuesdays and Fridays, but you know, who knows? If you want to know what I use to help me manage my ADHD and the things that got me through and the coping mechanisms without my medication, then make sure to click the video that's going to show up somewhere on the screen here in a minute. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.